Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have somewhat of a gloomy day. It's almost 8 p.m. It's windy and it's cold, but not freezing cold. So yeah, took the Roxor out for a little spin, and I just thought I should have a little discussion about whom should buy the Mahindra Roxor. I know I'm not passing judgment and deciding who has to buy. Of course, you judge with your pocket and your wallet. It's a free market, but then again, I just want to have open up a little discussion about whom I believe could be the ideal candidate to buy a Mahindra Roxor. Again, not passing any judgment, but the Roxor, just like any UTV, is it has certain people that it might be very appropriate for them, and others they would have it, and then after a few weeks, a few months, they might have complaint after complaint because the Roxor is not doing what they expected of the UTV. So without taking too much of your time, let's jump into the subject matter. So the UTV market in the United States is actually one of the hottest in the world. You know, they have so many manufacturers, and of late you have some very budget UTVs that come from China. About 5 years ago, the quality from the Chinese budget UTVs was quite questionable. But what I have seen recently has really gotten me surprised. They have really improved on the quality, and a big selling point of some of these Chinese UTVs is that they come with so many accessories as standard. If you go to your local tractor supply, for example, they have certain UTVs, I believe from they are branded Coleman, and those UTVs, the prices are really enticing. Anywhere they used to be about $9,000, and then they went up to about $11,000 after the pandemic. But just as a reminder, you know, the quality, I still don't know how good they are. Things like the windshield that comes standard on some of those cheaper UTVs, they have quite, you know, they leave a lot to be desired. So take a look at those, and then you can actually start talking about the quality, the build quality, and what you are going to use the UTV for. Now, the Roxor, as you guys, if you're doing your research, you might know by now, is actually based off of a legendary automobile design, a very rugged design, and simple construction that can be repaired in resource deficient areas. It has a steel body with a very solid frame, so it's quite a heavy vehicle. This would especially be of note for people who like to do like mud bogging. So if you get the Roxor down into a mud pit, you are likely to have it sink because of its weight. Whereas many of the newer UTVs you have on the market are very lightweight. They have steel tubing as their framework, and then that's clad in plastic and with some graphics. So those are very light, and if you put some big tires on there, you know, they would literally just float on the mud. Whereas the Roxor, because of its weight, will more likely than not end up sinking into the mud. So that's one thing to consider. The next thing is that if you enjoy driving, you know, going on tours, leisurely drives with someone else, maybe your significant other, or you just enjoy the quietness, then the Roxor might be a good UTV for you. That, even though it's a 2.5 liter turbodiesel engine, it is surprisingly very quiet, especially if you have a cab installed. you'll be amazed at how quiet it is inside the Roxor cab. So if that's something you plan on doing, going on trails, maybe even hunting, and you don't want to scare off the wildlife, then the Roxor might be something you may want to consider. If you go on a test drive, you will be amazed. You might be able to have a sensible conversation with the salesman without screaming out your lungs. One other thing to consider is the price point. Many people say that the Roxor is expensive, but I don't know to what exactly you could compare the Roxor to. There is really nothing comparable to the Mahindra Roxor on the US market. It's just so unique in a very special way. So if you look at other units, UTVs, some would go all the way up to 30,000 and even plus. But granted, most of those ones would have AC and installed heat. But I believe you can get the Roxor with the all-weather package that now comes with AC and heat, and that's quite a plus. The other thing about the Roxor, it doesn't have like many of the gadgets some of the more expensive UTVs have, like electric windows and navigation systems installed in there with entertainment systems. But those are all items that I believe a competent electrician can add, especially the GPS or the entertainment system. You can have that added by a competent electrician or audio shop, and that will work very well for the Roxor. By the way, most people now tend to use their phones, and the Roxor has a 12-volt outlet where you can plug in your phone and have it charged while you are out there on the trail. Okay, let's continue. So one other thing to consider is that the Roxor uses diesel fuel. So this is very important because you can use off-road diesel, which is dyed, but you have to be careful because that is not taxed. And if you take your Roxor with off-road diesel and you're driving on the roads, you could get in trouble because essentially you would be using the roads without paying any taxes, which is kind of unacceptable. So bear in mind that that's one other thing. It's a fact that is very important for farmers and ranchers, and even some mining and oil field operations where they shy away from having sparks or engines that use ignition, like with spark plugs, because they are afraid of having a detonation. So in most cases like that, you would have mostly diesel engines, and this one fits the bill very nicely. I think that covers some of the bases. And then the other thing you have to also remember is that many people buy the Roxor because of the looks. It's brand new, so you don't have to buy it and fidget around trying to figure out stuff, carburation, how to dial in the carbs, change the spark plugs, why you're not getting spark, why you are missing on some cylinders. All of that stuff, you don't have to deal with it when you buy the Roxor. So I think some people buy it and then they were expecting that it will break down, then they will have some time to wrench on the weekends, but the Roxor just works, and so they get bored. And you will realize if you go shopping for a used Roxor, you will see many examples where people just bought them, kept them in their garage, and after like 2 years they realized they were not using it enough and they put it on the market for sale. Many vehicles you see that look like the Roxor, it's just a work in progress. You buy it and every day you promise yourself, one day I'll get at it, one day I'll get it finished, one day I will. With the Roxor, not like that. You buy it to actually drive it and enjoy it. So you will see many low mileage Roxors because I think it's just nostalgia, or people just being fed up with having had similar vehicles and had it on their mind to work on it for maybe 2 decades, some even 3 decades, and they're still not done. So yeah, you'll see many low mileage Roxors for sale, and you can actually have some of those for really bargain prices. And then one other thing you have to remember, the Roxor no longer comes with an automatic transmission, so you should be able to drive stick. Make sure your left knee is good, that way you can depress the clutch and use the Roxor the way it was meant to be driven. The engine is very torquey, so it makes it very easy to teach maybe a teenager or first time stick shift manual transmission driver on the Roxor. You can literally put it in first gear, let go of the clutch gently, of course, without giving any gas, and the Roxor will power itself without stalling. So it makes it very easy to teach stick on the Roxor. So that turned out to be quite a lengthy discussion, but it was just to highlight some of the pros of the Roxor, and that you need to factor this in when you are looking to purchase a Roxor. And if those items I listed are things you are comfortable living with, then of course you can go ahead, contact your local Roxor dealership, and always advise go for a test drive. You will most likely be amazed and be sold on the Roxor. For me, I'm very pleased with mine, which I have had it since October 2018, so I'm really happy with it. And yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you on the next video. Bye.